Well, good afternoon. We are indeed honored to be the sponsor of this awesome event. Unfortunately, I don't get to stick around for it. I have a board meeting tonight, so I'm going to be slipping out here. So we are in financial services. Financial services is highly regulated, and with a lot.
Hurricane Ike came roaring on shore in September of 2008. We were in September. But don't worry, they said hurricane season's over this year. So that's just 15 years ago. Well, thanks to Dr. K, as she likes to be called, and her amazing team at the U.S. Army help us keep our children and grandchildren safe and an awesome, safe from future storms for that magnitude. Dr. K currently serves as Garrison Chief Programs Support Branch in the district, and it's called the new Mega Project Division. So Mega Project Division is just ample for today. Dr. K has earned so many honors and accolades during her distinguished career. I have a long list, 4 pages, but I won't read them. Related to some baseline, she holds both a master's and bachelor's in biology and earned her doctorate in 2015 by double majoring in interdisciplinary ecology and urban rural planning, which is interesting from the University of Florida, which is a great school for that, one of the best in the nation. I'm a Seminole. We'll have a great football game. Dr. K is a consent from Nazareth team player.
I'll work on this. I am going to talk from what we call the Coastal Texas Story Map. I just wanted to orient you so that if you're on your phones or if you want to go home and have a look at this, you start by Googling the U.S. Army Corps of Engineers Galveston District. You'll get our front landing page, and over on the right-hand side, what you'll see is the Coastal Texas Study. The Coastal Texas Project, as he mentioned, was just authorized 272 days ago. I'm keeping count because we haven't received appropriations yet. We'll have that conversation. $20 million to develop a recommended plan. If you may recall, that involved 2 sets of draft plans and 2 sets of full-on environmental impact statements. We have not yet received appropriations. We have 2 sponsors ready to roll who have funding in hand to start the project. The first sponsor is the Texas General Land Office, which will be on the panel tonight. They're interested in supporting the ecosystem restoration side of the house. They will bring to the table 35% of that cost. And then our second sponsor was established by the Texas Legislature, which is the Gulf Coast Protection District. They too will be on the panel, and they are responsible, or will be responsible, for 35% of the gray infrastructure. So green infrastructure, gray infrastructure, both are captured, and now we just await Congress to provide appropriations. Very much for having us.
Thank you, Dr. K, and very exciting activity. I do have, I thought I had gotten Tim to do cleanup and make sure that we recognize I didn't miss anybody, but I made another major omission. And so I would like to invite this individual to stand up and let us.
Well, I'm going to say this has been a long time coming. We've been working on this, but Bayhab has been a huge part of this from the very beginning. And the leaders you've had introduced here tonight have been a part of that as well. So this would not happen without this whole area coming together in a project that has such importance, not only just for this area, but for the state of Texas and for the country. So we have a panel discussion, kind of bring you up to speed where this has been kind of quiet here lately, with a lot of work being done behind the scenes and that kind of thing. So we thought this would be a good opportunity. Nicole Sundstrom. Nicole, if you would come on up, I'll read this. Nicole and I kind of go way back as well. It says here that she has experience in the legislature. She worked in my office, and she is awesome as the executive. The governor could not have made a better pick than Nicole Sundstrom to be the executive director for this project. Thank you. All right, let's get started. We're going to start, I say, local, state, and then go to federal. So Nicole, you're up. You ready?
Yes.
Explain the projects in the.
Talk about it and refer to it as a booklet. It's in Orange County, Jefferson County, and Brazoria County. So we have
restoration measures, we looked at what benefits it can have to the overall resilience. We strategically planned marshes and bird islands so that the intercoastal waterway, the barges and everything, vessels, and then things like marsh act as giant sponges, so they can actually hold a lot of the rainwater and that storm surge water, and kind of hold it there for a little.
First off, thank you for saying that. Thank you for specifying that we're not in charge of the funding aspect.
I don't want people throwing stuff, he can do it.
Yeah, I'm glad, especially given that we have congressional staffers in the room here today. You heard that I didn't say anything inappropriate. Thank you. And I'll talk about what we've been doing in a second here. But on the funding side of things, right, you heard the number 57 today. I would tell you what's been out in the news and what we publish typically is $34 billion for this project. That's what was authorized in Congress, right? That's what you've seen everywhere. That is the first cost, right? You guys all know that on a project of this size and scale, when we start talking about 20 years, potentially 30 years, depending on what the funding stream looks like for this, there's going to be inflation, there's going to be escalation. When you start going through that process, there are a lot of questions about how you get this thing built. It is the largest project in the history of the Corps of Engineers. You'll be able to see it through a combination of things that we can get to quickly, right, quick wins, and things that are going to take a longer time. In terms of the quick wins, there are things that we do routinely in the Army Corps of Engineers. Pretty dang good at them, I would say. So we've been taking a look at which of those features we would want to get to quickly, because I think, the legislature.
All right, thank you. You're allowed to escape, yes. Thank you, Dr. K, for your leadership. Hey, before we adjourn, I just want to share a little bit about what's been going on at BayHab. I promise. I have 3 minutes. I'm going to fly through this, but we got some exciting stuff going on. You may have heard we have moved offices.
Could you just say and spell your first and last name and then give you a title?
Sure. My first name is Ian, I-A-N. Last name is O'Sullivan. It's O''Sullivan. My title is the Deputy Commander for Mega Projects with Galveston District of the United States Army Corps of Engineers.
Perfect. Thank you. And my first question is, what is this meeting for? What's happening right now? What is this?
This meeting was for the Bay Area Houston Economic Partnership, their stakeholder meeting, and we talked about the Coastal Texas project and the current status of where we're at with that.
Okay, and what is that status? Tell me about the Coastal project.
Yeah, Coastal Texas project?
So tell me about that. What is that?
Sure. So the Coastal Texas project was authorized by Congress in December of 2022. We are currently waiting to see if there's any funding available for it. Yeah, I mean, that's really it. We're kind of waiting right now.
Okay. And what are the plans for the project? What are you guys going to do?
Sure. So the Coastal Texas project is a $34 billion project authorized by Congress in December of 2022 that looks to protect the entire coast of Texas. The major components of it are a barrier system, a series of gates that go across the Houston Ship Channel from the Galveston Island to the Bolivar Peninsula, as well as beaches and dunes on either side of that, on Galveston and on Bolivar. There's going to be a series of ecosystem restoration projects that span the rest of the Texas coast from Galveston down to South Padre Island. And then we'll also have some interior features inside of Galveston Bay at Clear Lake and at Dickinson Bayou in order to prevent storm surge in those areas as well.
Absolutely. And I wanted to ask, during the panel, you were talking about the small quick wins and then the long-term plan. So could you tell me, for one, how long the long-term plan is expected to take in the next 20 or 30 years, and also what some of these short-term things you guys are doing for more immediate relief?
Sure. So right now, as we think about how we're going to execute this project, we know that we need to get to quick wins first, right? And so we're going to do things that we're very good at doing. Beaches and dunes, ecosystem restoration, building breakwaters, things like that. At the same time, we know that the most complicated aspect of this project is the gate system. That portion of it is going to take 20 to 30 years. With efficient funding, we plan on it taking 20 years. I kind of forgot what I was going to say, honestly.
That's okay. That was a good point to wrap it up. So I believe I have one more question for you. Give me just a second here.
Okay.
Okay. So there has been talk since the 60s about having some sort of protection system down here. In 2008, a more specific plan came to be, I understand. So can you talk about where we are today came to be?
Yeah, so obviously in 2008 we had Hurricane Ike, but in Galveston District, in the Corps of Engineers, as well as with our partners in the General Land Office, who was our partner for the study aspect of this, we've been talking about doing a project for years. When Hurricane Ike happened, that kind of served as the impetus for us to move forward on a reconnaissance study initially, and then that turned into eventually funding to do a $20 million study that has resulted in what we have right now as our feasibility level plan.
And I know I said last question, but I did have just one more. Could you talk about the scale of this project and why is it going to take 20 years? Sort of justify why it will, because it's a big project that makes sense.
Yeah.
Explain that.
Sure. So, the length of time for this project, the reason it's going to take 20 or 30 years is simply because of the scale, right? This is the largest project, the largest civil works project in the history of the United States Army Corps of Engineers. Obviously we endorse it. We believe in this project, which is why we recommended it to Congress, and it's why it was authorized ultimately by Congress. But it's the largest project in the history of the Corps of Engineers. It's something that you should be able to see from space.